Well, that was wild. Like I said in the preview, these third place matches between quote-unquote big teams are really tough to call, but they can end up being the best games of the tournament. Nothing to lose there. Hello and welcome to the second to last 2026 World Cup video on the channel. I feel like this is all I've ever known at this point. I've been living this World Cup since early May, but guys, I typically don't do a video for the third place game, but let's run through it quickly. Oh, and I'll see some of you later today, I hope, right here on the channel for the World Cup final watch party. So come, join us. As feared, or more I should say, as expected, neither France nor England took this third place playoff incredibly seriously when it comes to their player selections. Kane and Bellingham didn't even start for England as they had made 7 changes. France made 7 changes as well, including everybody in their back line. That is if you count Maxence Lacroix as a change, who came on to replace Saliba in the last match. He didn't start that game, so I'm calling that a change. But yes, even Konate was seen, just his second sighting at this World Cup. Declan Rice, who's quite tired and in pain, started for England and captained the side actually, and he even scored just 2 minutes and 16 seconds into this game. Nobody in France's midfield or backline closed him down as he went on a run with the ball at his feet, then just casually curled a strike in past Maignan. It took France a bit to wake up, and you could see that the threat on the counter was always there, but it was England who were the most dangerous of the two teams. It wasn't just the Rice goal, it was Saka who was a huge thorn in the side of Lacroix and Hernandez on that side of the pitch. He had a goal called back for offside early. And it was also a Rice delivery from a corner that saw Konsa, not Kwanzaa, Konsa direct a header perfectly into the bottom corner. France's defense was really struggling. But a huge credit to England's attack as well, who were constantly finding ways to make runs through that back line. Saka in particular was a handful for them. As the half went on, Mbappe did come alive a little more. Henderson made a strong save on him as he cut inside, but it was one-way traffic as far as the most dangerous of the attacks, as France's backline was completely disjointed. They were caught way too far forward when Rashford was played through, completely alone. Maignan, forced to come out and meet him, was drawn out of his goal. Saka and Rashford toying with them before Saka scored to make it 3-0. Unreal. Sure, the players in the backline aren't the starters for France, but they were playing far below their ability as well. They looked horrible out there. I mean, I hate to use that word. Way too high of a line. Malo Gusto was constantly out of position, leaving his flank as a wide open highway for Rashford and whoever else wanted to attack down the left. Then absolutely no pressure on the players who are outside of the box. First it was Rice, then it was Rodgers playing Saka in for his second goal of the game. One touch past the defender, then sliding it into the bottom corner. It was just way too easy for England. And this was what I was speaking about in the preview, which makes things so difficult to call in these third place playoffs. France looked completely unprepared for this match. They looked as though they had spent the last few days preparing for England's top team, their A team, so to speak, and their 4-2-3-1. And then with this kind of rotated lineup, 4-1-4-1 that England were playing, they absolutely bamboozled them. But even in considering that, it doesn't explain the severity of how bad France were in that first half. 4-0 down at the half, the first time they'd conceded 4 in the first half since 1968, equaling the amount they had conceded across their previous 7 matches. Just unreal levels of, well, more like depths, I guess, unseen depths. Mbappe was the only one that had a respectable first half, really, and you could say it was maybe selfishly motivated. Maybe that's being cynical though, but he was of course still chasing the golden boot. But he may have also been trying to give Deschamps a great send-off, the only French national team coach Mbappe has ever had at the senior level. 186th and final match in charge of France, and they were getting smoked 4-0 at the half. And so of course there were major changes for France. Theo Hernandez, Konate, Cherki and Doué came off for Digne, Upamecano, Dembele and Barcola, and the change was instant. A superb ball from Olise, perfectly weighted, and with a first-time finish, Mbappe scored his 9th of the tournament. Olise getting his 6th assist, his first assist though since the round of 32. He'd been quiet the last couple of matches. And you could feel the belief kind of draining out of England. They were rattled. The familiar feeling from the Argentina match of losing control of the match was on their minds once again. And 6 minutes later, Mbappe played Barcola in, and he made no mistake with the finish. 4-2, nearly 4-3 immediately after that, with opportunities for Dembele and Olise. I believe they called it offside, but I don't know what that it would have been called, or cancelled, I should say. Olise also just missed the bottom corner from the edge of the box shortly after that. But The goals kept on coming, man. England had lost the mental game completely. They were clearly collapsing, and Olise and Mbappe burned them again. A little give and go. Mbappe with a left-footed finish past Henderson for 4-3, and thus making himself the all-time leading scorer in World Cup history with 22 goals. An unreal feat at 27 years old. That goal also meant that Olise got his 7th assist, the first time a player has ever accumulated that many in a single tournament. But one of the craziest things in this match, and just in this tournament, was the force field that was put up around the goal. Every time Olise would have an attempt, the ball would swerve wide with a left-footed attempt from a great passing play between Mbappe, Olise, and Dembele. Olise's right-footed effort was on the wrong side of the post. At that point, 20 attempts in the World Cup for Olise, 0 goals. This guy easily could have had a hat trick in this game. But the comeback was killed off when Malo Gusto put in the clumsiest of tackles on Jed Spence, who, by the way, was great once again, Mr. Jed. And from the penalty spot, Saka sent Maignan the wrong way for his 3rd of the game. 5-3 England, a hat-trick for Saka at the World Cup. His 2nd England hat-trick. What an achievement to get it against France as well. Now, Dembele would pull another one back to 5-4, but Jude Bellingham would score a nice solo goal when the game was incredibly stretched. Great solo goal from him to make it 6-4. 10 goals in this game. Remember how I said the 3rd place match can be the best game of the tournament because the teams basically have nothing to lose? Well, that's what we got here, thank goodness. So England will leave this with the 3rd place medal. They'll be happy for that. It's not the medal that they wanted, but at least it was a memorable win, a 10-goal thriller that you are on the correct side of. There are currently some issues with this English side when they get rattled. Right? They were close to blowing what would have been one of the worst choke jobs in World Cup history, a 4-0 lead, but they got it done in the end. They didn't end up choking. For France, Didier Deschamps departs, and all signs point to Zinedine Zidane taking over. Can't wait to see what France will look like under him. That will be very interesting, and I'm sure Real Madrid supporters are hoping that the club will do everything to bring that Mbappe and Olise link up to the Bernabeu. 7 assists for Olise, 10 goals at this World Cup for Mbappe. Very scary stuff, man. Also Bellingham, the class of this guy, when he is able to run through players like that, he is just so exciting to watch. 7 goals for a midfielder is an incredible achievement, so massive props to him. Another Real Madrid player. Imagine Mbappe, Bellingham, Olise, Vinicius. Does it work? I don't know. But guys, that will do it here. England come out on the other side of this as the winners, and overall not a bad World Cup for them at all, right? Guys, that will do it for this video. Yet another recap in the books. The 3rd place playoff is completed. Congratulations to England. And now all that's left is the World Cup final between Spain and Argentina. Oh, doesn't get much better than that. If you show up to the watch along, I'll be happy to have you. So do be sure to do so. All right, guys, take care.